Yes, you can hear me now. Cool, also in the back. Interesting thing, beginning of this year, I went to a lovely and humongous event in Brussels called FOSDEM, because I'm an open source hippie. And I was standing in line for coffee, because we all need coffee, or at least most of us do. And I bumped into Floor and Jos. And I was like, hey, I knew you from a while back, because I was a speaker at the DevOps Days in 2019. I had a game with me, the DevOps game with Kapla. I know Jos still plays it. Were there more people there who played the DevOps game? Yeah, oh cool. I'm back, hi. So I said, hey, cool to see you here, and what's going on? Yeah, organizing the DevOps Days. And I was like, yeah, oh yeah, the CFP is in my calendar. And they're like, Nancy, that was yesterday, the deadline. So Floor made me a lovely picture with a really sad face, like, oh, I missed the CFP. And then I got lucky, and the team invited me to come over as a keynote speaker nonetheless. So I'm really pleased to be here, and it's really fun to see DevOps Days people also in other conferences. So especially for all the new timers here, the first timers here, this is your crowd. This is a cool crowd. But what also is a cool crowd is the crowd that organizes a hacker camp every 4 years. Oh, a little bit about me, of course. I play games for a living. I'm a hobby hacker. I'm a hobby social engineer. I'm the co-chair of IFCOT. I do that together with Crystal. IFCOT is the organization that takes care that we have a Dutch hacker camp every 4 years. And I'm player 1 at Happy Game Changers. That's my company. So if you want to play games with me someday, just find me on LinkedIn and send me a message. And there's a picture of me, which is also my LinkedIn profile picture. From Dennis van Zuilenkom. Shout out to Dennis van Zuilenkom. From his project, Shoot All the Hackers. Credits where credits are due, right? Okay, so today I want to give you a little bit of a history lesson about how this all came to be, what's going on with this weird Dutch hacker scene, what's derived from it, and why it is so, especially in these times, very important that we have a vivid hacker scene in the Netherlands and everywhere. So here's a little timeline. It started out somewhere around '89. I was a little Nancy back then. And then every 4 years or so, because things happened a couple of years back, we have had a Dutch hacker camp. Who of you have ever heard of the Dutch hacker camps? Oh, that's actually a lot. Cool. Maybe other people from Germany here? Maybe you have heard of CCC camp? Yeah, this is like the Dutch version. Well, actually it's the other way around, but I'll tell you all about that later. And last year I became the co-chair of IFCOT. IFCOT is short for, oh, somebody's going to check me on this, fact check me on this. International Festivals of Creative Application of Technology Association. I don't know, I didn't make it up. So I got handed over a couple of big ordners with a lot of information from former camps. Heading back to HIP, HIP was in '97, and it was like a treasure trove of stories and things and faxes and telegrams and whatnot. So it was like, for me as a geek, it really warmed my heart to see so many awesome letters and things going on with police reports and all. We decided, myself and Crystal, my co-chair, to make a presentation about the history of Dutch hacker camps, because we had so much cool analog information. I already covered this. So now, this is what we know. It's probably not complete. There's a lot more stories to tell. So we're harvesting stories. So if you have ever been to a camp and you have a cool story about one of the Dutch hacker camp, hook us up, give us the information, because we really want to, share all these stories. But this is what started beforehand. There was a magazine, Hectic, for techno-anarchists, and a lot of things were happening already in the world. You have the 2600 hacker scene in America, of course, and Hectic was a magazine where you can find all things about fracking or phone phreaking, operating systems, I don't know, circuits, cool stuff. Anyone here who have ever read a Hectic? Oh, cool, yes, my people. So, and then this happened. So what was the genesis? Well, the genesis was there were 3 people who went, this is Rob Hongrijp, this is Caroline Nevian, and this is Patrice Riemens. They went to Hamburg or Berlin, I'm not quite sure. Not that important. Germany, to the CCC Congress. It was a very old Congress. And when they were driving back from Germany back to the Netherlands, they were like, we need something like this in the Netherlands. So let's organize an event around the hacker scene, but also journalism, ethics, whistleblowers, and all of such in the Netherlands. So it was actually, the first edition was here in Amsterdam, in Paradiso. It was, of course, announced in the Hectic. And it was especially for anyone who felt like we need to talk more about cool technology and other awesome stuff. So the first was born. It is the Galactic Hacker Party. And a parallel to that was the ICATA. And it was they were talking about new things like the internet and email. And the aim was to exchange information on what is going on in the world and what is going on with all of that. So it was already an international event. It still is an international event. It's approximately 1/3 Dutchies, 1/3 Europeans, and 1/3 other people, not non-Europeans. But this was already an amazing, cool event, and there was a connection between Amsterdam, San Francisco, and Russia. There were panel discussions, there were journalists there, there was like all the discussions that we are having probably in the coming days and yesterday as well. Ethical morale around new technology, around AI, around, well, back then, not that much yet. But it was amazing. Anyone who went there, I have had them in the audience earlier. Okay, cool, I get that. I was 8, so no. And then 4 years later, they were like, oh, let's do a sequel because it's fun. Let's do it again. So, the next one, and let's go camping. Let's turn it into a camp. That was called Hacking at the End of the Universe. And outdoor event with hackers, geeks, and such, and a lot of sunscreen, I hope. Going to a field in the middle of the Netherlands to have some very cool fun. And what I also found very interesting was the fact that this is probably the first time that we know a viral marketing campaign. That's the next one. I don't know why I'm turning around, because I can see it over there. That doesn't make sense. I'm sorry for seeing the back of my head all the time. So this was the first viral marketing campaign in a Hectic. So bring your friends, tell your friends that your friends should tell your friends. And bring everybody to this lovely place called Larserbos, which we rented from the ANWB. For the Dutchies, this is relevant for a couple of sheets from here, from this one. It was 3 days in a tent with approximately 1,000 visitors, but hacker scene, so you might never really know, because people are not too fond of being registered anywhere. Also, today, the biggest drink... Oh, let me ask the audience, what's the biggest drink now in the hacker scene, non-alcoholic? Club Mate, thank you. Yes. So Club Mate is now the drink of choice in the hacker scene, but back then it was Jot, cola, which is highly caffeinated drink. Nowadays it's Club Mate, which is also a highly caffeinated drink. And it was already volunteer run, like DevOps Days. Big shout out to the volunteers here as well, because these kinds of events only happen when you have avid volunteers. So that's a good thing. I really like this one. You can find the information later. This was the Stonehenge computer. And I think the pages are still online with the information around it. And hackers wouldn't be hackers. Within a couple of hours, this thing was connected to the internet. She also did a Pong setup, this artist. So it was not only hackers and journalists, but also makers, artists, and whatnot are coming to this type of events. So 4 years later, we really wanted to go back there. But ANWB, that's the Dutch, what is it? The ANWB, it's such a thing in the Netherlands. They said, dear Mr. Gongrijp, we had a lot of complaints, international and national things, press coverage. No, thank you. Not welcome here. So they had to figure out. This was one of the treasures that I found in these big ordners that I showed you at the beginning. So they had to find another place, and they did. It was in Almere, the always lovely Almere. And what I particularly liked here is because hackers do attract authorities from time to time. So authorities showed up, which happens, which is fine. But at HIP, they made sure they were recognizable by pink wristbands. So anyone from the police who was walking around there, you could recognize by pink bracelets, which was, I think, kind of funny. And also, please do not do anything illegal because we will cut the connection. That was what they told us. And of course, we have one of our old-time sponsors, which is BIT, made sure that we had cables that you could. It was a very effective way of activating the firewall. Yeah. BIT is still a sponsor nowadays, which is awesome. Also, what happened there is, I mean, this was 97, so DHCP was still a bit of a thing, and they actually invented PAC DHCP. Does anyone know PAC DHCP? Yeah, I see one over here. It's RFC 2322, if you want to look it up. And it looks a little bit like this. This was the way to get DHCP leads to all the tents. So you just picked up a peg and then you just put it there, and then you had. Then it was fixed. Pretty awesome. So then something other interesting happened, because of course in '89. The 3 Dutch people that came up with the idea, let's do a camp in the Netherlands, got their idea at CCC Congress. And then CCC Congress was like, hey, what these Dutch dudes and girls and whatnot are doing, that's actually cool. Let's do that in Germany as well. So it came full circle. And so the CCC camp is actually derived from the Dutch hacker camp, which I think it's amazing. Still, in our current organization, we have a lot of people from CCC helping out. Like, for instance, the Angel system, that's the system that takes care of volunteering on the field. Well, we are very intertwined. We work a lot together with the CCC community to make these camps happen. And also, they decided, okay, so the Dutch camp is every 4 years. Let us do our camp in between. So now every 2 years, it's either the Dutch camp or CCC camp. So very cool. Shout out to the CCC community as well. This was also the moment where we had the first villages. Villages are just groups of people, birds of a feather, flock together, that put their tents together and work on something that they all love. So that can be hardware hacking village. That can be, I don't know, food hacking base. We have a family zone. It can be, the Finns are coming. They have a Nordic village with all the Scandinavian people. They are bringing sauna, of course. So we have all kinds of villages. They are also on our wiki, so you can see what kind of villages there are. And if there's any certain thing that you are very interested in, you can just reach out to them and say, hey, can I put up my tent with your village? Because I love what you're doing. And you're talking about the things that I find very cool. So let's hook up and let's create a village together. Then, 4 years later, hacking at large. Enschede. It was near the university, and of course, because it was through 2001, there could be no better name than hell. Hackers at large. Oh, I have to tell you something about the backronyms as well. So usually we first come up with a 3-letter something, and then we decide on what it means. So for this year it was why, and then we had to come up with what does this mean. I will talk a little bit about that later because interesting things are going on with that name. But this was the first HXX event, because they were like, okay, so it needs to have a 3-letter name and it needs to have an H in it. Are there, by any chance, any marketing people here? Do you know what a terrible idea it is to rebrand your complete camp every 4 years? But okay, I know I know there have been some brave people who tried to change that and say, okay, so the CCC is called CCC always. Why do we need a different name? Because each and every single time I have to explain to people when they say, yeah, I went to this thing in 2013 that was called Ohm, and is this something new? No, it's the same thing with a different name. Not the great idea in the world, but I know they took a vote and most people in the scene were like, we want a different name every 4 years. So yeah, that happens, it's fine. But one thing that I also find very interesting, and this is also a nice example of how we work together with CCC, that is that this was the first camp where the talks were actually recorded, 2001. And you can still find them on media.ccc.de. So all the camps from 2001, all the talks are there. Or maybe not all of them, because we have TLP Red talks, of course. But I think it's amazing that we still have these talks, and it's also really a treasure trove to go through them and see what people were worrying about back then. And some things didn't change. Then we had What the Hack. It was in the always beautiful Brabant. Linte. A lot of people there, and it was a wet one. So I really heard people, when they got out of their sleeping bag, they had tingly feet because their laptop was underwater. Or laptop, what am I talking about? Probably just they brought their system with them. There was some interaction with the police as well, because that happens at camps, like I said earlier. And they decided, ooh, these might be very scary, illegal people. Let's listen to them. So there was a big police bus outside, and hackers would have been hackers if they didn't have a solution for that. So they listened back. Thought that was very amusing. Yeah. This was also the first known appearance in the Netherlands of a beautiful thing called the Datenklo. Because if you organize an outside camp with a lot of infrastructure, you want to keep your network gear dry. The easiest, cheapest, and best way to keep network gear dry is by doing this. So, ever since then, at any hacker event out there, it's also an idea derived from the CCC camps. Of course, because it will stay dry, it will stay clean. You can lock it, which is a great idea because obvious reasons. And you can just have fiber to your tent, right? Yay! So that was the data cloud. They are still there, and I think it's very awesome. This is a picture of the first known appearance in the Netherlands. And it works like a charm. We ordered them for this year's edition as well. And I think this is what hacking is all about as well, right? And then we had Hard. This is a special one to me because it was my first hacker camp. So this was the first edition I went to, and I was just blown away by what I experienced. It was really amazing. I also very much like that logo a lot. Hacking at random, 4 days, a lot of visitors, and we had our own payment system with little simple plastic coins, which is very interesting because around the same time another technology came to be. I hear people laughing. Do you have any idea? 3D printing, yes. So that was interesting because people brought 3D printers. Because, ooh, new technology, let's try it out. So yeah, that was a bit of a thing. On the other hand, usually if you ask people nicely, they will be okay about it. But most of the time, it's not the question. It's why. The question why, the answer most of the time is because we can, right? Because I want to try, because I want to figure this out. This was also very interesting. I spoke to the guy in the middle last week. These are, at least that is Mitch, and they came on a plane, so they were called hackers on a plane, because they went to Germany to hackerspaces there. They were like, this is cool, let's have hackerspaces. They took it back to the US, and then they took it back again to the Netherlands and gave a workshop and a lecture on how to set up your own hackerspace. So a lot of knowledge is being cross-shared as well, and it's very important because the camps are so closely intertwined with the camps. Almost all of our volunteers that are creating this event are also part of a hackerspace somewhere. So they brought the hackerspaces with a bit of a U-turn back to the Netherlands. And now we have hackerspaces in a lot of places in the Netherlands. You can find it at hackerspaces.nl. And the first three were RevSpace in The Hague, the one in Utrecht, which is not there anymore, and Hack42, of course, because 42, in Arnhem. This Saturday we will be at the one in The Hague for our in-person organization meets with a lot of volunteers to make it happen. And of course we had some internet werkplaatsen before, but now we have a lot of cool hackerspaces where you can do all the things you want to do. Hacking, making, 3D printing, and whatnot. Let me see. Also, other camps started to appear because they were like, okay, every 2 years a camp, we need more camps. So then EMF started in the UK. Next edition of EMF will be next year. Also, from what I heard, I've never been there, so maybe next year. It's also a crazy cool camp. I have to speed up a little, I see. Observe, Hack, Make in Geestmerambacht, which is interesting because this year it will be again at Geestmerambacht, a different field, but it will still be there. It was the first IFCAT event, so that's the legal entity that makes sure that the events happen. And we found out there, this was one of the hardest camps to organize. Let's be fair, there were a lot of people in the organization that did not have fun that edition. It was hard, it was sometimes rough, and maybe even a little bit ugly. We learned a lot. We really changed a lot of things after this camp. I was a visitor there, not yet part of Orga. For me as a visitor, it was amazing. I really had a great time. I learned a lot of cool stuff was going on. And also, what we had are these datenkloos. And then there was a beautiful addition to that, which are still in use. And that's the ohm lights. And these lights are put on the datenkloos, so you can see when there's a network outage where it is. And they can change colors. Of course, you can hack them, do anything with them. They are developed by BitLayer. That's the hackerspace in Amersfoort. Shout out to BitLayer as well. And they were donated to hackerspaces, so we can use them over and over and over again. So probably you will see them on the field this summer as well. More camps showed up. Here we have a beautiful camp called Fright Camp. That's from our Belgian friends. It's more kids focused, which I find also very interesting and cool, because get them while they're young, right? We need new people who are curious and want to do things. So Fright Camp is, if you have kids, go there. You will have a blast. And also a new yearly event started, Born Hack. Born Hack is in Denmark. If you want to go full-blown hacker holiday this summer, start at Born Hack and then go over to WHY. You will have a very interesting holiday and loads of fun. So shout out to our friends, organizers from Born Hack as well. Then we had WHY 2017, still hacking anyways. We learned a lot from previous editions, so this was a blast. It was in Zeewolde, they had a scouting terrain. And it was the first event with a badge, the technical badge. Ever since then, we have had a badge. And let me see, it looks a little bit like that one. Anyone still owns the badge? Yes, 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 yes. And this was also the first event where Crystal, my co-chair, went. So that's why there's a picture from Crystal. There's always, like everybody knows, whoever organizes an event, there's also a lot of work to be done, sweatshops, to make sure that everybody gets their badge, everybody gets what they need. And this was also a very cool event, because we got reached out to by fire department, local fire department. And they had a new communication truck, and they wanted to have it tested. So please do hack. And I think that is an interesting thing, that in the Dutch scene, we tend to work together sometimes with organizations, and I think it took them around 30 minutes to an hour to get in. And tell them how to fix it. And I think that's the charm of when you are a white hat hacker. You can really improve things in the world, right? If you look it up at the website of the NOS, you will probably find it. That's a Dutch news broadcaster. If you look OHM in 2013 and brandweer, probably, you can still find the article where it's written down what we did there. So, and my tent was actually somewhere here, so it was really cool. I really had a beautiful view on the fire truck. And then, 4 years later, nope. 1 extra year later, we had MCH. Hey, who went to MCH? 1, 2 people, 3 with me. Oh, 4 people. Oh, more. That's in the back. I can't. It's a bit dark back there. I'm sorry. That's where the hackers lurk. MCH, 5 days again in Zeewolde, because it was kind of a nice terrain. And one of the things that I find particularly interesting from that edition is, of course, there was the corona thing, and the government had done a hackathon or an appathon to figure out a new corona app. And there was a lot of critique from the Dutch hacker scene on that. They were like, this is just not okay. The things that you are proposing, they will never work. It's not privacy friendly, it's not secure, it's not okay. We are not going to use this if this gets built. And then someone, Ron Roosendaal, in the government said, okay, you know best, come and do it then. So they invited loads of hackers from the Dutch scene to build the Corona Melder app. And the thing is that the Dutch app was the most privacy friendly in the world, with the least private data. And I did a presentation on that at MCH. So that was the Corona Melder app. Also, what does it look like? It probably looks something like this. We have a lot of LEDs. We have a lot of colorful lights, blinking lights, a lot of fire. This year, Dimitri, a friend of mine, is building a physical firewall that is 16 flamethrowers that go 11 meters high. Yeah. Did I already tell you that I'm in charge of permits? I got the permit, by the way. Yay! Now for the important part. Why is this important? Why do we need to get together? Why do we need to bring the misfits, the curious minds, the weird people together? Finally, normal people, that's what they say in Germany. Endlich normal Leute. Because a lot of the things that derive from hackerspaces and hacker camps are actually good for our society. And I would really love to make a stance that I think that if we want to foster a free society and want to take care of our democracy and want to make sure that we stay safe in this world, we need the hacker scene, and we need more people in the hacker scene, and we need younger people in the hacker scene as well. Because the fact that we still vote with a pencil in the Netherlands is because there was an initiative from this scene called Wij vertrouwen stemcomputers niet. We don't trust voting computers. And they got a voting computer, they hacked it, and they showed it, and they were like, these things are not safe, this is a hazard for our free democracy, we don't want this. Bring back our pencils. Also, journalism, like Bellingcat and OSINT types of journalism, being a safe space for whistleblowers and people who want to share true stories of what's really going on in the world. We have the amazing Internet Cleanup Foundation that is set up by my predecessor, Stitch, shout out to Stitch, who started an initiative to figure out how safe are our government websites and just publishes it online. He does that with a bunch of volunteers and they make sure that it's still there. We have the DVD, Dutch Institute of Vulnerability Disclosure. Sorry for butchering that DVD. Access for All derived from it and long has been one of the main organizers of the older camps. So a lot of cool stuff is coming out of the hacker scene that makes this world a little bit of a better place. We are guarding the free word, we are guarding free journalism, and we are guarding the democracy. So what comes next? It's almost there. 49 days from now. I'm a bit scared. 49 days from now, we will yearn things. And for any English native speakers in the audience, we know that you yearn for something. We're very sorry. So it's a Dutchism, and that's fine. It will be in August. It will be Geestenbrandwacht again. That's approximately 42 kilometers north of Amsterdam, because 42. It will have 3,500 visitors. At the current time, we have, my Grafana is over there. We have approximately 106 tickets left. So it's almost sold out, which is the first so far prior to the event. we will add 250 extra tickets. But then, when it's out, when it's done, it's done. When the tickets are sold, that's it. So if you want to go, be quick. This is what the field is going to look like a little bit. This is actually another event, Liquidity, a drum and bass festival, that is right before our event as well. But this is a short impression on what it would look like. We have a map. You can look it up. It's on the wiki. You can click. You can zoom. You can do anything you like. It's going to be a big event. There's going to be a lot of interesting things happening. The CFP is no longer open. Whoops. But these are the themes of this year's CFP. We have received over 250 talks from all types of presenters. So I'm really, really curious what the program will look like. We will probably publish it somewhere beginning of July. It will be awesome. It will be awesome. I'm sure of it. How it works, we have 42 teams, of course. You can still help out. Especially team parking and team merch need help. So these are the two most urgent teams now. So if I've inspired you to come and help us out volunteering, these are the two teams that really need your help. You can reach me or volunteer team, or come and join a village. This is how we are organized. Most important part, actually, to really make it happen are the angels on the field, because everything that is done on the field has been taken care of by visitors. So it's truly a community-built event. So you are not only a visitor, you also help and build the event. With a couple of exceptions, we don't ask angels to clean toilets. We hire people, we learned. So you don't have to clean toilets, but you can drive the shuttle bus. There are numerous ways to add value to the event. If you want to stay up to date, here's the way to do it. And of course, follow us on Mastodon and all the other channels and other socials. We also have a podcast. It's the only podcast about a hacker camp in the universe. And episode 39 is coming out this Friday. And I still have to edit it. You can also listen to all the information about the camp and what's going on and all the volunteers. We need these type of events because I think it's very, very important. And there's also one other thing that I would love to share because of a conversation that I had yesterday evening at speaker dinner. That's my final slide. I heard cool stuff about the code of conduct, which is amazing. I think it's very important. I think we need more diversity in tech. I think that's very important. And I like to end with a little story about these three men that are very important to me. In the upper left corner is Paul. He's my favorite player too. And he's always the one who makes it possible that I can do what I do and fill up my ambitions. And when I told him, I'm thinking of co-chairing IFCOT, he was like, ooh, girl, are you sure? But if anyone can do it, it's you. So he always has my back. That's my big brother who gave me my first computer when I was 13 and told me, Nancy, you need to learn how to program. Nancy, you need to learn about open source software. Nancy, you need these skills for the future. And don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't do something because you are a girl. Very important message to get from your big brother. This is my dad. My dad placed playgrounds all over the world, all over the Netherlands, I'm sorry. And I'm building on his work with playing it forward. And also, he was the one who taught me how to weld, how to fix streets. And he was always like, yeah, but you can do it. you have two hands and a good head on your shoulders, so go for it. I needed those allies to get here where I am today. If we want more diversity in tech, and especially because I'm a woman, I'm talking about the gender part of things. Of course, it's a way broader subject. We need allies. So please, be that ally. Because these were the men who made it possible for me that I'm standing here today. Woo! And we need you all. I truly hope to see you all at WHY. We are going to have a blast. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be safe. You will feel welcome there. So please consider getting your tickets. And hopefully I will see you in August. Thank you very much.